All right, everybody, welcome to a special edition of Teaching Crypto. This is it. This will be one of the final shows we do before things go crazy. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, bell notification. Keep it here for all the latest. I know what you're saying. You guys keep saying February is going to be amazing, and we've had to wait and wait. Guess what? What they didn't tell you is Bitcoin and crypto is a huge game of being patient. And if you've left, boy, will you regret it in February, Mr. FOMO. I am super bullish, and I really, really am excited about many things. But this hit the news yesterday, and I haven't had a chance to talk to you about it. Czech central bank to vote on 7 billion Bitcoin investment, Euro Bitcoin investment on Thursday, which is today. So here you go. It only takes one of these things to get things into motion. And then you had a senator in the US saying, hey, wait a minute, we might be going too slow here on this Bitcoin reserve. It just takes that.
I think it was Loomis that was saying that
Yes.
we need to be in a Bitcoin arms race, or at least hinting at the fact that we need to be in a Bitcoin arms race. So this is super bullish,
Oh, yeah.
especially if countries like the US are going to get in on this race. So we have no reason to believe that the US isn't going to follow suit. So this is the beginning. This is where we start to see the super bullish things happen. We're at the starting line. We're in our crouch, and we're waiting for the gun to go off. That's it. That's exactly where we are right now.
My prediction here, I've got us at 115K by Super Bowl Sunday. It wouldn't shock me to see 120, maybe push 125, but definitely I think we're at 115. But it's not only that. What's going to really, really rev up are the altcoins. And yesterday, activity on ETH went up. The ETH price is still being suppressed, still at 3,200, but you're slowly starting to see things pick up. I'm going to tell you guys right now, iOS Network, 73 cents. Huge discount, ladies and gentlemen. It pushed $1 just a week ago. In fact, excuse me, it went over $1.03. And with the Bitcoin retrace that happened, went back to 100K. It went back. It's all the way back to 73 cents. You still have a little bit of time, but your days are numbered. Because next week when we do this show, I highly doubt 7 days from now, iOS Network is going to be under $1. Voyager update, you're looking maybe another payment in the next few months, but I don't think it's going to be very much. Again, we'll have to.
It can't be significant now.
Yeah, they're still trying to get some 3AC allocation into customers, but they've been pretty quiet. Mr. FOMO will reach out one more time and see if we can get official word. But the last I heard is one more payment, maybe a bit of 3AC, and hopefully before 2026, whatever's left in the funds they can give back. And if they can get people back another 5%, great. I think getting 100% back right now, happy metal vegan, is probably a pipe dream, to be honest with you. But there will be one more payment. We just don't. I'm not going to lie and tell you I know exactly how much it is, but probably.
Yeah, we used to have a friend. We used to have a somewhat friendly guy inside that would give us information sort of right before it was coming out, and now he's moved on to greener pastures. He didn't die. He went to a better job. So
yeah, but we'll reach out one more time. I think it's worth it, Mr. FOMO. So we'll put that on our to-do list. But the other thing that happened yesterday, so this is big. We'll find out about this today. That's, if they vote yes, watch out, because that alone will get Bitcoin, in my opinion, up to 110. The Fed, who I'm not a huge fan of, and I think neither are you, they didn't cut rates, but they also talked about the fact that it would be okay, and it might be a good idea for banks to be holding Bitcoin and crypto. And this is a huge move from 12 months, 2 years ago. these type of statements. So that to me also very super bullish.
Yeah, just the 180 that they're doing on Bitcoin and crypto, they seem to be getting in line with their new boss. So, but yeah, just the 180 that they're doing on Bitcoin and crypto is super bullish. Before, banks wouldn't even mention it. I mean, you could. I have friends who are financial advisors. They can't even breathe the word Bitcoin to their customers, and now that's starting to change. Now they're saying banks should be holding Bitcoin, and you're going to see another. That's going to be another sort of arms race here in the U.S. is banks loading up on Bitcoin as fast as they can. And so
All
we'll
right.
see what happens, but I think the banks are going to play a big role in what happens next.
Next question you're going to ask, guys, when is the top going to be in? All right. Well, I can't tell you exactly, but what I can do is share. Good idea to look at statistics, right? And typically, Mr. FOMO, the typical top of the cycle, if this ends up being a traditional cycle, it may not be. Who knows? We might have game. I don't think game theory is happening, but you can't say for sure it's not. 2.4 times the 200-day SMA moving average here. That would put the top at 184,600. Now, I don't want to tell you this is the top. We could go to 250. We could top off at 150, 160. But here's what's interesting. Remember my initial prediction for the entire bull run was 150 to 180. And at the time, we were at 40K. Your head almost exploded. You're like, what? But this mathematically would put us in line with the other cycles. Now, the two last cycles were very different, and here's why. Last cycle was a double top. The previous cycle, it was continuous movement all the way until October, and you didn't get a mini bear in the summer, not nearly as much. There were small dips. So the last two cycles were actually, as I dug in deep, Mr. FOMO, drastically different in that this one so far is more like 2 cycles ago than it is the last one. They're not identical, but both would have us topping out in some manner around October, mid to late October, or even early October. And the number that comes up is anywhere between 150 and 220 that I've seen. So this 180 is kind of like right smack in the middle of that. So that's something to consider with everything that you're doing right now.
Yeah, and remember these cycles, they don't repeat, but they do look similar. Everybody says they rhyme. But they do look similar, and so you're going to get similar action at similar times. And so this February, I think, is when you see the strongest chance of that happening outside of October, all the way at the end of the year. So yeah, I can see that. I think there's a bit of an idea of diminished returns here just because of where we are. I don't think we're going to go up as fast and as hard as we did in other bull runs, just because, like I've said before, it takes $1 trillion just to move us to 150, and then $1 trillion more to get us to 200. And so it's kind of a long way to go as far as the money that has to pour in terms of the money that has to pour in. But again, like I said earlier, if the banks get in on it, if countries get in on it, there's no telling. Really, I mean, game theory is that they'll get, I think you meant broken cycle theory, but game theory is that everybody's going to get in on it once somebody else does. And, they're going to compete for dominance. And so when that happens, the sky's the limit. The question is, when is that going to happen? And hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah. And again, today's news might be very interesting. We'll see if the check thing, what happens. The other thing, and I want to keep saying this over and over, there are a lot of tokens out there. There just are. I'm not talking about all the scam tokens. I'm talking about there are also a lot of legitimate projects trying to be launched. and a lot of them are just not going to make it.
Well, I mean, just look at what Coinbase is saying in the last couple of days. Armstrong came out and said that there's no way that they can keep up with the amount of tokens that are released. They can't get them. They can't have them regulated. They can't have them reviewed. They can't spend the kind of time that they need to, you know, doing their due diligence on all of these coins. And so what they've said is that they're not going to do that anymore. And so what I predict is that on Coinbase, you're going to see a lot more projects showing up here.
Well, here's the latest one. It's almost like we planned the show to the T. This is the latest token on Coinbase. It is a now it's called the Venice token. It's an AI privacy token. I've not tried it. Here's what I know. The market cap is 202 million, but it literally went from 20 cents to and the chart is not updated anywhere technically, but within 3 days it went from 20 cents to $25. It's now back in the $7 range. But this just got listed, and this just shows you how crazy things can get. Now, I do want to say something about this token. The circulating supply is only 26.4 million total, and it just did get listed on Coinbase, and the market cap is only 202 million. And given the fact that a day ago it was at 10 and 2 days ago it was at 23 and it's below 8, it's a bit intriguing here. Again, there are so many tokens, so this might sit dormant for weeks in February, and then within a day just 2x or 3x within hours. And if you don't have your phone with you, you're not, you're obviously not going to benefit. But this is just one example, and this is why you tune into the show. Now, I'm playing it more.
Look at that volume too.
Ways. Yeah, volume spiked obviously whenever. See, some things get listed on Coinbase and it doesn't matter. People ignore it. But when it does matter, you kind of gives you.
Well, this fits one of those narratives that we've been talking about.
Yeah, it just fits the AI narrative, and it could be a bogus.
If you've been following us, AI is going to be huge, and so I'd really like to get in on these projects before they get to Coinbase, because you could really.
Well, the issue is no one. You would really have to be in the weeds. There are so many projects launching, but this one got their attention enough to be listed, and they went from 20 cents to $23.18, went up 3.7K%, not 300%, 3.7K% in 48 hours. So we will see what happens if this token. I would keep an eye on this. Now, for me, I would love to see it down to 100 million. That's probably a pipe dream, but that's an amazing retrace. But
I did want to be leveling off.
I did want to bring it up because when you only have 26.4 million tokens, that is kind of a big deal, because that does mean supply is limited. So if someone wants to move the price at 200 million market cap, it can be done very quickly. So might not be a horrible idea if you want to do some research on this one. For me, I'm more bullish on Iowa's network. I think when the alts finally wake up, this thing's going to $3. You can get it today right at around 75 cents. Take a look, ladies and gentlemen, because opportunity is knocking. Guys, it has been a great show. And next time we talk to you, we're going to tell you our picks for February, which might be the most explosive month in the last 4 years for crypto. So keep it here for the latest. What are you doing if you haven't subscribed? Hit that subscribe button, share, bell notifications, super chats are open.